Coming to hypothesis testing, that basics Rishmi covered, and then some examples she told. And tomorrow we will be seeing more examples in Shiri's session. So I will not be covering examples. So I will be covering each different case that will come in this. What is the equation that we'll use in those, and what is the Python statistics function that we can use to implement those. Why that equation came, how to use values in that equation and all. Maybe tomorrow's Shirish session we can see. And if any doubts are there, we can discuss later. So I will not go into details of how these equations came and all. You just assume that these equations are already given to you. So with a single population with non-variance for hypothesis testing, we will use x minus mu by sigma by root n, where x is my mean of my data sample, mu is mean of population, sigma is variance of population. Sigma by root n is the standard error of my sampling distribution. And suppose my population variance sigma is not known. Instead of that, I will use my sample standard deviation S if my data has more than 30 points. And if it is less than 30 points, then I will use a T statistics with the x minus mu by S by root n. So we will see both these cases, which how to approach it using Python. So given I am giving a table of ages, and the mean is 31.9 and standard deviation 9.48. Like that, I am given one table with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 values are there. This. So I will define a problem. Like I am asked to find out whether these samples fall into a population whose mean value is 38. So like that, I am given one statement. So first I will assume that the population is a normal population, so I can directly use set test. And the second example, I will assume that the population is not normal, and since the samples are less than 30, I will have to go for a t-test. So for a set test, what you can use is what is called a stats model library is having a weight stats module. So in that weight stat dot set test, you have to call. In that you have to pass your list which contains the sample values. And this mu value that you wanted to check against, in this case 38, that you have to pass here. The test value will be taken by default here. If it is sigma you want to give separately, it will has to be given as a separate argument. So we will assume that sigma is equal to S here, right? So and our hypothesis testing cases, we will get some p value out of the test, and we will have to test whether p is less than our significance level. Right. So if it is less than significance level, we will reject the null hypothesis, which in this case is the mean of the given samples is equal to 35. And if the p value is greater than 0.05, I will tell that I fail to reject the null hypothesis. So I am telling that I don't have enough evidence to conclude that this particular sample is belonging to a population with mean 38. So if you run this, we can know that the p value I will get is 0.02, which is less than 0.05. Hence, I can reject my null hypothesis. So had my significance level been 1%, then p value less than 0.01 will come here. So it is 0.02 I got. So my this case will not be applicable. So in that case, I will have to fail to reject the null hypothesis. So for the given confidence significance level of 5%, this my outcome is I will reject the null hypothesis. So for suppose my another value of significance level, my outcome may be different. So that is what you may have to consider, because depending on the problem, you may give given different values of significance level, 1%, 5% or 2%. And if you are not giving anything, then you can assume that it is 5%. So same case we will do with the one sample t-test, and we will assume that the population is not normal and the standard variance is not known. Population variance is not known. So there what we will use is the same SciPy stats module that we saw earlier. It has a t-test underscore one sample. One sample stands for that we are doing with the test on a single sample of the population. So I just have to pass ages and the 38, my assumed mean value. Similar to this set test, I will get the p values. Then I can test whether it is less than 0.05 or greater than that, and I can print my outcome. The same value I reject null hypothesis. But as you can see here, in this case, the p-value is different from what I got from a set test. So this is expected, right? Since we learned that in the t-test t distribution, the tails are fatter than the set table, right? So it is like we can assume that the value we will get from the t-test will be greater than the value we will get from the set test, right? I hope you can compare with the plot that we saw. The tails will be fatter for a t distribution compared to a normal distribution. Now the last thing that we saw in inferential statistics session last day was proportions. We saw for a single population case as p minus p hat minus p0 by square root of pq by n. So this p square root of pq by n is my standard error. Pq by n is my standard error, and so if this is you need not learn this because I just put it here for completion sake. So here we will use what is called this proportion thing. I don't think it will come for our exam. Even if it comes, that will be like simple thing that you may be able to do without calling this. With a calculator you can do. That is what I assume, because this equation you can directly use the functions that we learned earlier to find it out. Okay, if you are finding it difficult, then you can use this proportions dot set test. So that takes as arguments the count, number of samples having success, then total sample size, and the value of the null hypothesis. So here you can relate to the previous example. Here 5% significance. So our sample 82% are good. So out of 500 samples, 410 samples are good. And the null hypothesis is that for the population, 80% samples are good. And we are trying to find out whether our proportion where 82% samples are good belongs to this population or not. So sample success is my number of samples that are success 410. Sample size, total sample size 500. Null hypothesis is that population proportion is 0.8. And alternative is that larger. So I am my null hypothesis is that it is less than or equal to 0.8. So then I will use a call that is called proportions underscore c test. If I run that, my last two statements are same as previous thing. So I get sets p-value as 0.122. So that is greater than 0.05. So as we know, p-value greater than significance level, we will fail to reject the null hypothesis. So like I will have to assume that this thing does not belong to this population. This is belonging to some other population. So similarly, this much we covered in the previous sessions. So whatever I am going further down will be covered in tomorrow's session. So you need not worry about it much. Just go through the examples and whatever I am telling, how we are doing, how we are arriving at the results and all we will be seeing in tomorrow's session. So for the two population proportions, similar to this, I am given P1 and P2 corresponding two proportions, and I am asked to find out whether these two are related to each other. Then I will use set statistics P2 minus P1. This is for the sample minus P2 minus P1 for the population divided by standard error. So standard error actually two cases will come here. One is whether the proportions belong to independent populations or whether the proportions are from the same population. So depending on this, either this equation or second equation you will have to use. So I have put an example here. So I will not go into details of that. It is similar to our example that we considered previous. I am having one sample 410 out of 500 success, same as in previous example, and second sample 379 out of 400 success. And I am trying to check whether both belong to the same population. And finally, I got p-value as 0, which is less than my 5% significance level. So I will reject the null hypothesis, which tells me that okay, these two do not belong to the same population. Now coming to don't be bothered by these formulas. Like we will not be required to use these formulas now and again. We can directly use Python functions to implement this, right? So I'll just tell formulas for completeness sake. So for two sample cases is you will be given two samples taken from either the same population or two different populations, and you will be asked to find out whether the mean of these two samples are same or whether one is greater than the other in it one-sided test. So that kind of things if you want to do, you will have to go for what is called a two sample test. So similar to one sample test that we saw in last class, there are different cases arise, right? If the sample standard deviation is known, I will go for set test. If the standard, if the number of samples are greater than 30, I will go for set test. Then if the standard, if it is a normal distribution and samples are less than 30 also, I will go for a set test. In all these three cases, I will go for a set test. In the case where I don't know the population variance and I don't, and my number of samples are less than 30, in that one case alone, I will go for a t-test, right, in single sample case. So in that case, we can tell like set test is like the most comprehensive case. T-test covers only the case where I don't know the variance and my number of samples are less than 30. So coming to two sample case, here the most general case is what is called a two sample independent t-test. The second equation that you can see here. So I'll come one by one. So first thing is two sample set test where I know the sigma 1 and sigma 2. So for both the populations, my population variance is given. So in that case, I will compute set statistic with the x1 bar minus x2 bar minus mu1 minus mu2 by standard error, which in this case is sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. So this equation will give my set statistics, and this is provided I know sigma 1 as well as sigma 2. So suppose I don't have that, then I will compute my sample variance s1 square and s2 square, and in that case, two cases arise. So suppose I will assume that first case, I don't know the population variance and the population sigma 1 and sigma 2 are not equal. So in that case, I will go for this two sample independent t-test unpooled case. Then one more condition is there that in any general case, I don't know which statistics to apply or I don't have the full values with me, then I can go for this case. So this will be like the most general case in case of a two sample test. So in that also this first equation will be same as set case, only set is replaced by t, and standard error is also same as previous case, only sigma is replaced by s. But as you know, for t statistics, we have an additional variable called degrees of freedom. So there are multiple ways in which degrees of freedom can be computed. So if I am doing it manually, I have to like apply it into this equation and all, right? So if I'm using it with a pen and paper or with a calculator, I can assume a minimum of n1 minus 1 and n2 minus 1 as my degrees of freedom and calculate with that. Now what is used by softwares is what is called a Satterthwaite approximation. So this is used by softwares. I have not added the equation here now. So I will add it later when I am putting this in GitHub. So this equation is like this. This mu equal to this equation, right? So this looks complex, right? It's actually simple only, but if you know what it means, but this looks complex. So you need not by heart it and all. So this is what is used by software, right? So when we do it, try to do it using Python stats library, this is the equation that will come into play. If you are doing it manually, you can always use this minimum of n1 minus 1 n2 minus 1 to simplify the computations. So that will give the difference between these two cases will be very minimal, and the difference in result can arise only if the case you are considering is like very marginal. So suppose whatever cases you are considering is like more into the middle of the data, all these three options will give you the same result. So option 3 is the maximum bound for this n1 plus n2 minus 2, but that is not used much, and we don't prefer to use that, right? And the second case is two sample independent t-test. This is also called a pooled t-test. So if you compare here, I told unknown population variance, here also unknown population variance. The assumption is here unequal variance assumption, here equal variance assumption. So I am assuming that for the two samples that I am considering in this case, the standard deviation of the corresponding populations are same. So in that case, I can go for a pooled t-test. Now, one thing to note is most of the softwares will be like doing pooled t-test only by default. But from literature, the pooled t-test is not like the recommended test nowadays. Nowadays, most of the literature recommends that you go for unpooled test only. So, okay, when we come to that, I will tell there is some argument to convert your test from pooled to unpooled case. In Python, as I understand, the default case will assume that your population will have equal variance. So that pooled result only we will get mostly. If you want the unpooled results, you will have to give an extra argument. So in unpooled case, the first equation is similar to this. Second standard of equation is like SP into square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2, where this SP is called the pooled variance. So that also one equation is there. So this by heart in this equation is not up to you. So I don't think this may be required to buy. You may be required to by heart this for your exams and all, because mostly the software will be available to you. And degrees of freedom in this case will be the third option that we considered here, n1 plus n2 minus 2. We will just see 2-3 examples where each of these are implemented. And then one more paired t-test also we will see. And then we will maybe wind up in another 5 to 10 minutes. So you just when I put this in GitHub, you just go through the examples. I'll just tell what are the functions I have used in each of these. So first case that we considered was a normal distribution, 2 populations. So the set test we have to use. So I have one ages, one sample set here, ages, one second sample set here. I am trying to compare whether the means of the 2 population sets are same, and I am assuming that both are from a normal population. So I can use the set test. So the last 3-4 lines are same as the previous single sample cases that we saw. I am comparing against a significance level. If it is less than that, I will reject my null hypothesis, and if it is more, I will fail to reject. So if I run this, I will get as 0.05, 0.058, right, which is just less than 0.05, greater than 0.05. So I will fail to reject the null hypothesis. So there is a possibility that both can be from the same population. Now coming to t-test independent. So this is the test that I told earlier. T-test independent is like the most common used test for hypothesis testing across the industry. So if you give help of t-test, you will get the details from the Python default documentation, the calculated t-statistics, the two-tail p-value, and even you can modify it for a single tail and all those things you can. Some examples also they have given. We'll just see an example similar to this 2 ages we will consider from 2 samples, and I'm just printing the means. And the call you will use is t-test underscore ind. Similar to set test, we will have to pass the 2 entries here. So that will give me p-value as 0.06, which is again greater than 0.05. So I will fail to reject the null hypothesis. That means both these may be from the same population. So I will just put one more thing. So let's see. So I told earlier that I have to pass one equal var here, right? So let's do this with equal var equal to true. So as you can see, I got the same p-value here. So the default value of this is equal var 2, which is our pooled case. So in this case, suppose I want the unpooled case. That is the general case that I told earlier. We have to set this equal var flag to false. Comment here. True is default. Pooled case. Use false for unpooled case or general case. So I hope that makes it clear. So if I give false, I got earlier I got 0.06. Now I got 0.07. That is the value corresponding to the first equation that we got. And with the true, I will get the value corresponding to that pooled variance, that equation that I got. If you want, you can check it, apply it, that formula here and see whether the values that you get are same as this. So that is the additional thing that I wanted to cover. Then coming to paired test. Now, as we saw in examples and all, what we are doing in a hypothesis test, we are maybe taking some samples from a batch of data and we are checking whether they are having some issue, faulty ones, or some chemical, whether the accepted value of some chemical is within some tolerance. So things like that only we are using hypothesis testing normally, right? Or like testing 2 drugs, whether one is more effective than the other. Now suppose we have a test like we want to test a drug. So for maybe controlling pressure, blood pressure. So I have 100 people. So I take the blood pressure of all those people. Then I give them this medicine. Maybe after some 1 hour, I again take the blood pressure. So if you see an example like this, the population of all these people are the same. The samples of also same. That is, you are using the same sample of 100 people in both these cases, and you have like doing some test. So as you can see here, if you consider these two samples as not related to each other, then I can use the same two sample test with my degrees of freedom and all, n1 plus n2 minus 2 or something as I saw in that thing. But if you see, the actual degrees of freedom here is only n1 minus 1, right? Because both cases only 100 people are there, so 99 is my degrees of freedom. So it would be better if I can find some way to use this similar to a single sample test, right? Because I am having only single sample here. Only thing is I am having two measurements correspond to that single value. So in situations like this, we will go for what is called a paired t-test. So it is like we have a set of measurements corresponding to same samples from the same population, like similar to this case, blood pressure before and after giving a medicine. So what we will do is we will subtract these two, one measurement from the other. So we will find all the difference values, and then we will use that difference value for the my single sample t-test. So that is what happens in a paired t-test. So if you want to do this in Python, two options are there. One is you can use the t-sample, one sample test that we saw earlier, and you just pass the difference between the two data to that. Or there is a different call like t-test underscore relative, which will give you the paired t-test. And now we will just see what is the case when we consider these as two independent populations also. So that is my first case. I am doing two sample like a pooled case, since I have not changed the equal var flag here. The pooled case, I am considering both are independent samples, data 1 and data 2. I will get the p-value as 0.78, and it is telling me that probably both are the same distribution. So that is there was not much change in pressure due to that medicine, right? And second case, I do a paired test. There I get the value as 0.746. That also gives me the same outcome. The drug didn't have much effect, right? And I am doing it with this thing. So I will get the same p-value as 0.745, 0.7459. Same p-value as I got in t-test RL as well as t-test one sample case. So that is this much. What we covered, we were given the samples, right? So we were given like 10 samples, 100 samples. So, but in exams mostly, or MCQ exams mostly, it will come like you will be given some values, like this is the mean of the population, this is the variance, this is the proportion. You will not be you may be given, but mostly you will be given the statistics from this rather than the samples itself, right? So in that case, you can use what is called a t-test independent from statistics. So this will give you allow you to compute the values given the SciPy is not defined. Okay. It will give you flexibility to find out the statistics for hypothesis test given some particular population statistics like mean, standard variance and all, instead of this data that we considered till now. So let's see 2-3 examples. This is similar to whatever we saw in previous class. I'll just write 3 examples in total. About 3 minutes it will take. So each question I will read. I will just see how I can put that in a problem. So t-test this inputs whatever it is taking are two population. It is assuming mean one, standard deviation of the first, number of observations in the first. Similarly, mean, standard deviation and number of observations in the second case. And equal variance is equal to true. So if I want a pooled test, I will keep that as such. If I want an unpooled case, I will pass equal var equal to false. So you just remember this mean, standard deviation, number of observations, 1 followed by 2. So I am given a question, average number of articles produced by two machines, 200, 250. So as you can see here, I have passed that 200, 250 here, mean values. Standard deviation 20 and 25, I have passed here 20 and 25 on the basis of 25-day production. So that is my third 25 here and here. So that is my how I can pass the values. I can use the t-test independent from stats function to compute my pooled case p-value. This is 4.2 into 10 raised to minus 10. That is very much less than 0.05, right? So I can reject the null hypothesis, and I can tell that both these are not equally efficient. And second case is average number of articles produced are 200 and 210. Similar to previous question, but this number of days I have changed 25 and 30. So then if you can see this third value I have changed to 25 and 30, 200 and 215 are mean values, 20 and 25 are standard deviation. So same thing I do. Same way I will get p-value as 0.01, which is less than, again, if I consider 5% value, this is less than, so I can reject my null hypothesis. If I consider 1%, then it is greater than that, so I cannot reject. So that depends on my significant values. I can either accept or reject this. Now suppose the same case I want to do for an unpooled case. So I have to pass equal variance is equal to false. In that case, I will get value as 0.016, almost near to this, but less than this, right? And the last example, the height of 6 randomly chosen sailors are given. Then the height of 10 randomly chosen soldiers are given. And do these figures independently indicate that the soldiers are on average shorter than sailors at 5%. So this is like summing up given a question how to approach that. So you'll give given sailors and soldiers. So you have to use a t-test it. Sailors and soldiers you will have to pass. And let's assume it is since both are belonging to population of humans only, I can assume that both variants are same. If I do that t-test, I will get p-value of 0.5, which is greater than 0.5, right? If I consider 5% significance level, so I will fail to reject my null hypothesis, right? So I will have to assume that the heights of sailors and soldiers are more or less one and the same. So with that, I think we come to the end of this statistics using Python.